So gang, let's kick off proceedings. The first thing I want to kick off is one of my coaching clients. Many of you know Taney Jane. Taney Jane's been an extraordinary success. The reason I talk about him consistently is in 2 years he's written over $1 million, writing 370,000. But he did put a question to me, and this is not about him, it's about someone else that's asked Taney Jane about a question. What do you do when you work in an office that you have a boss that is not supportive and there's other negative people in the office? So here's a real interesting one. So what do you do when you work in an office that you do not have a boss that's supportive and there other people in your office are negative? So the first thing I will say is that if you're a real estate agent, you have to accept, if you're watching this, that you are working for yourself. So when you actually say, thank you for sharing, by the way, everyone. So when you actually say, I work at an office, the truth is that you are working for yourself. You are working for yourself. You are the CEO of your own life. You have a deal, and whether it's 50% that you're getting or 60% or 40% or 70%, I don't know what the arrangement is, but you pretty much is yourself trading as your office. So that would be, for me, for you to understand that you've got to have a self-employment mindset. The second thing that you've got to understand is worrying about getting the approval of other people in your office is not necessary. As I've said before, other agents do not pay for your mortgage. They do not pay your car payments. They do not pay for your food. It's the market plays it. So what you should be doing is pretty much putting an invisible bubble around yourself there. The next thing is when you have your boss that's not supportive. Well, that's an interesting one because I believe that there's lots of bosses that are good bosses out there, and that it is an absolute privilege for a boss to have someone that is a good operator. If they have a guy or girl that's a good operator, it is a privilege because good salespeople are hard to find. And I would say that what you should be doing is having a look and seeing what are your options out there, right? Because I don't think it's good on a Sunday night to be going into an office if you actually feel that you don't feel happy where you are. I've got to tell you, no matter how much money, Arabella's just said about Phil Harris, he's a good Phil. I can't stop laughing over what what Phil sent me. No amount of money on this planet, is worth it if you're not happy. The next thing I would say is that you have the choice. That's one of the things that people forget. Ultimately, you have the power. You have the power to make any decision you want, wherever you are. Right now, can I just say to you, if you're unhappy in a situation at work, you've got the ability to get up and leave if you want. You have the ability, if you're in a marriage that is fucked, you have the ability to get up and walk. I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but I don't want anyone to think that they're powerless. If you're in a job that you're not happy, you have the power to get up and walk away from that job. At any time, never forget, you have the power. So, I don't think that whinging or complaining is the answer. And Taney, I want you to explain that to this person, that they're better off spending their energy on the solution and not the problem. And that's what I choose to do in my life. Participate in the solution, not the problem. So that's the response to that. I want to talk, by the way, if you haven't pressed the share button now, please press that share button right now. I want to talk to you about something that I've spoken before. In today's newspaper, while I was having my soy flat white at around 11 a.m., I read an article about the placebo effect and the latest research. And now medicine is doing all it can to actually look at getting placebo pills out into the marketplace due to their incredible success in helping in medicine. And what they talked about was specifically some people that were given sugar pills to get rid of arthritis, and that people were taking these sugar pills, get ready for it, thinking that they would get better, and people that had had chronic arthritis for 5 and 7 years have got up and walked out of medical clinics. In another study, people were given sleeping pills, told that they were going to sleep well, and they were, again, sugar pills, nothing in them, and the sleeping patterns of these people dramatically improved. There have been others where they did surgery on people's knee, and all they did is actually touch nothing except put saline solution in there. What we clearly know is that the placebo effect has a very powerful effect on health. This is really interesting because what it's basically saying is that science clearly understands that if you believe you are going to improve, that there is a connection between the mind, body, and soul. So I've talked about this in the past because you know that double-blind studies that are doing clinical trials never tell the people whether they're on the drug or not. And I have been on a clinical trial, so I can speak to you from a position of authority here. Though having said that, it depends on the drug. You can actually feel some symptoms if you are on the drug. The point I'm making is that if we clearly know that the mind has a powerful effect in changing the biology of your body in instances where it's able to repair your body, I say to people watching this video right here, right now, have you actually thought what would happen if you brought a positive placebo mindset into a setting of, say, a listing or a sales presentation? What do you think it would do? What do you think it would do if you brought the placebo effect into you doing a presentation in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people? What do you think it would do to a sporting team if they visualized and if they acted as if failure was not an option and they were going to win? What would it do? What would it do if you were a girl or guy and was keen to go ask someone out and you walked with purpose that success was going to come to you versus being someone that thought that they were going to get rejected? This is a very important lesson for you tonight, for you to understand why a decade ago, when I first had my major setback, I chose to be the most positive person on the planet. And now we have today, in June 2017, medicine saying, how can we bring the placebo effect into modern day medicine? The issue, of course, is if you tell people it's a placebo, does it not actually have the ability to act as a placebo? But for the people that are watching this Sunday night rant right here now, I want you to understand this. Make the shift. Act as if it's impossible to fail. Have failure as not an option in anything that you do. And I will tell you, the minute you do that, everything in your life changes. I say this to you not as a scholar, not as a theorist, not as an academic, not as a scientist. I say to you as I have been the subject and the scientist myself. I have been the guinea pig experiment myself. And I'm telling you that it has had a profound impact in my mind, my body and health. Don't get me wrong, I've taken lots of drugs, lots of chemotherapy, lots of radiation, lots of antibody stuff. But it has been coupled, it has been complemented by the fact that I have always participated that things would be great. And I do this in everything that I do. I can tell you, like last week, I would have done 7 presentations. Every presentation I go into, I think to myself, I'm about to make a huge, profound impact to the people I'm about to speak to. That's what I think. I do not go in there thinking to myself, I wonder whether this is going to be good or bad. I'm scared, or this is going to be a failure. I don't have that mindset. In anything that I do, whether I'm auctioning, whether I'm delivering a presentation to News Corporation, whether I'm dealing one-on-one with a staff member, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a positive value meeting that is going to be good for all parties. So gang, that's the placebo effect. I want to move on to the second thing I want to talk to you tonight. And the second thing I want to talk to you tonight is this, that we are now living in a world that I call very high tech, low touch. And what I'm noticing is a lot of the salespeople have moved away from learning that this game is a contact sport. Stop thinking that that fucking email is going to be read. People think that everything that they send has an impact on people. I have to give you some news, guys and girls. And the truth of the matter is that because we've got things flying to us via social media, Facebook Messenger, Insta messages, television, things in letterboxes, like we are constantly having our attention. There's this big competition fighting for people's attention. And I have to say to you, as Glenn Farris says, it's person to person. If I want to actually get some decision, if I want to move forward with something, I get on the phone. So what I'm saying to you girls and guys is, any opportunity that you have to converse with someone, if they send you an email, pick up the phone and ring them. This is how people get shit done. And I want you to understand, high touch, low tech is what you've got to be doing in this economy. Whether you are selling real estate, selling financial services, whether you're selling insurance, pharmaceuticals, banks, nothing happens without a conversation. Remember that. Nothing happens without a conversation. So gang, I want to move on and just say to you that this marketplace, by the way, in real estate has also changed. And you now need to have really, if you're a real estate guy or girl watching this, I want you to understand you need to actually double up on your communication with vendors. You've got to start having some crucial conversation with vendors, because this marketplace is not having those conversations with your vendors anymore. Thank you. Let's move on. I want to move on to number 3. Listen very carefully to this. And let me just have a drink of water very briefly. By the way, I had an argument today. I'll talk about it in a moment. Number three, what resist, you'll persist. What you befriend, you'll transcend. I will say it again. Listen and try and understand what I'm saying. Hey soul, kronya pola. That means live many years. What you resist will persist. What you befriend, you will transcend. What that is saying is run to your fears. Stop having your fears control you. This is something you might not know about me. When I was 13, 14, 15, I had an absolute fear of speaking in front of groups of even 10 or 20 people in my class. Fear would control me. Any project I had to do with group work, I would actually sit there and my whole plan and strategy would be, how do I get away from having to speak and present? I would be thinking about it the night before. It controlled me. I have to say that I've learnt that actually speaking publicly and having the ability to talk to large groups of people in presentations is one of the most important skills that you can have. Whether you're doing it in a training room or whether you're doing it in a boardroom or in an office, it's an incredible skill to have. So I look back and I am so happy with the decision I made, which was that I would no longer resist because it continued to persisting. So I have to say to you, gang, run to your fears, whatever it is. And I'm going to say to you, whatever it is, face it head on, take control of it, and watch that as you befriend this thing you're scared of, you transcend it. Thank you, Drew. Run to your fears. I want to move on to the next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about, and that is when the shit goes down, sides are taken. That's when you work out who is fake and who's real. I'll repeat it again. When the shit goes down, sides are taken. That's when you work out who is fake and who is real. And I have to say that I meet a lot of people. Some people I meet I have a real connection with. I can actually feel it. Thank you, Simon. I can actually feel that we laugh at the same things. We just have conversation that flows. You have an energy and it feels right. And then I meet the occasional person who is nice to you, but you feel that there's more coming. And what will happen, it'll be a campaign of nice, if you know what I mean. It'll be like, I'm nice to you, I'm nice to you, I'm nice to you, and now I'm going to ask something of you. And you can smell that a mile away. So, of course, the nicest people do things without expecting them to get anything back. Do that. Do that. This week, I was in Melbourne and I walked from Etihad Stadium to my room at the Crown Promenade. I was there for a few nights. And as I walked, it was a 25-minute walk. It was cold. I was freezing. And I didn't know my directions well. And I stopped and asked a lady. And this lady spent 5 to 7 minutes explaining to me thoroughly how to get there. 5 to 7 minutes. She was just a delightful lady. She would have been about 65, 75 years of age. And at the end of it, I just said to her, "Ma'am, thank you so much. I can't tell you how lucky I am that I ran into you." And she turned around and responded, "No, thank you, young man. You're the first person I've spoken to in over a week." I got goosebumps. Guys and girls, she's obviously someone that has had family or no longer has family or whatever it is. But think about it. A stranger asking for directions was her opportunity to converse with another human being. Guys and girls, can I just say this to you? If you ever have the opportunity to be nice to somebody, do it. You may, in fact, be the only person that does to that other person. So, can I just say that with fake people, the ones that I really don't like are the ones that, it's not even the ones that it's the ones behind your back, the ones that slag you off behind your back. They're the ones that, I think to myself, are the real fake ones. But here's the deal. They're behind your back for a reason. Remember that. They're behind your back for a reason. I want to move on and talk to you about the main topic tonight, and that is, I can't help it. In this world, guys and girls, yes, it is jealousy, Glenn. In this world, we got a lot of people that have got great lives on the outside, but they're falling apart on the inside. And the currency in our world has changed. Social status has really skyrocketed up the charts as a currency that people want. The amount of followers that they've got on their social media accounts, the holidays that they're going to, the cars that they're driving, the watches that they're wearing, the image, that they've got to preserve. And I have to say to you that I can't help it, but someone like myself that works in real estate, I've got to tell you, I see a lot of people that have got the stunning house. They've got the super beautiful house. That beautiful house or apartment. They've got $400,000 or $500,000 worth of motor vehicles in the garage. They've got the private schools. They've got the overseas holidays. And they've also got antidepressants in the medicine cabinet. They also have one of the couple having an affair and being totally paranoid about where they're leaving their mobile phone because they're worried about getting caught. They have their son or their daughter who's on meth, off their fucking head, on a fucking drug habit, hanging out at a fucking crack house. And all I'm saying to you is, don't get to the stage where you have a life that is fake on the outside. And let's be clear, everyone's life on Facebook is different to their real life. Let's be clear about it. And I've said it before, the best selfies look nothing like you. So, gang, the point I'm making is never swap a good outside for a bad inside. That's what I'm getting at. And right now, if you're watching this and your power in your life is coming from your job, if your power is coming from objects like cars and watches, if your power is coming from your looks, that's an interesting one, because I'm going to tell you, looks can go, objects can go, jobs can go, money can go. But I'm going to tell you straight, if your power is coming from knowing who you are, I'm telling you, you're going to have absolute peace. Nothing is better than knowing who the fuck you are. Because when you know who you are solid, you are grounded. And when people say things, you either tell them to fuck off or you smile and you tell them to fuck off from your head without saying it to them. The point I'm making is when you know who you are, other people won't influence you and get you to fly a fucking plane into the Twin Towers. When you know who you are, you're not going to be a person that's going to be running around going to fucking pubs and clubs where you don't want to be just to fucking be with your group of 50 people. When you know who you are not going to fucking sell your soul to make someone else happy. And I'm telling you straight, never put your peace and happiness in the pocket of another person. John, I'm going to tell you about the argument in a moment. Okay. The point I'm saying is the most important thing in life is this. Know who you are. Everything else works itself out. So, quickly on this point, someone rang me during the week. They said to me, Tom, we'd like you to put on your social media that we're running this course and that we want to offer it to your subscribers and we want you to email it out. And I actually said, hang on a second, let me get this right. You want me to promote this course. I'm not going to go into it. It's happened before, but I'm just going to tell you about the incident that happened. You want me to promote it to this group of people that I've got support. You want me to talk to them about it on Sunday Night Rant. You want me to send it on my database to the 25,000 people or so, and you want me to put it on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, Twitter. So no, I'm not going to do that because I don't go off and sell other people's stuff to my audience, which, by the way, I said I put a lot of time and energy to get trust with my audience. I'm not going to do it. And then she said, okay, no problems. I thought there was no harm asking. And then I said, well, there is harm asking. Absolutely there's harm asking. And there was silence. And I say this to you. I'll tell you why there's harm asking, because it puts the other person in a difficult situation. So there is fucking harm asking. It also is harm asking because what it means is that I won't be doing a favour to this person down the track. So there's harm in there. The point I'm making is this. When someone says there's no harm asking, well, there fucking is harm asking. And why don't people do the right thing? And that is work with people that they've got a relationship and not actually fucking jump on someone else's shoulder looking for the fucking shortcut in life. Because I'm going to tell you, get in line and stay in line. There is no fucking shortcuts. So let's move on. I want to move on to my next point I want to talk to you because my battery on my phone, by the way, is running out now. And this is an argument that I had with someone. They actually said to me, on Thursday night, the Socceroos played Saudi Arabia, right? And I'll tell you what actually happened. The Saudi Arabian team did not observe the 1 minute silence with the two girls that have been killed in the London bombings. And I thought to myself at the time, that's a little bit weird. They've got 1 minute silence. There was 80,000 people at the ground or whatever. Sorry, it was in Adelaide. There was 35,000 people at the ground. And I thought to myself, you know, that's a little bit weird. Then the Saudi Arabian team said, oh, no, look, it's a cultural thing. We don't observe a minute silence. Then today, I see a photograph of the Saudi Arabian team. Sorry for being fired up on here. The Saudi Arabian team, and they in fact had sat there. So thanks, Vic. There was 25,000 there. They shouldn't have had the game in Adelaide. They should have had it in Sydney, Melbourne. They would have got 50,000 or 60,000. Anyway, we're digressing. The point I'm making is the Saudi Arabian team had in fact last year observed a 1 minute silence when the Brazilian team had gone down. Yet the Saudi Arabian team was not prepared to, because they'd been given instructions before the game, do not observe 1 minute silence. Now, gang, I've got an issue with that because there was two Aussies that have been fucking killed, right? You know, there was I think they're two girls, right? So I've got two daughters, right? And I think to myself, hang on a second, you're on this soil. You're on Australia here, right? We want to observe a minute's silence for these two people. And you are basically saying that doesn't matter. Apparently, they even got booed by Saudi Arabian supporters. So today's argument was with someone that said, oh, Tom, you know, look, it's only a small, hiccup. I said, no, it's not a small hiccup. It's a fucking fuck up. It's a major fuck up. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this point is that, you know what I reckon I've seen about successful people? Successful people call it as it is. They describe a situation as it is. They describe a situation as it is. And because if you don't, remember this, you get what you tolerate. And I have to say that that's not tolerable. That's not tolerable here, because I believe that we must understand that when you're in this country and you're on this soil, and that if something is important to the people of this country, you must be respectful. And if you're not respectful, it says a lot about you. But gang, I'm not going to harp on it. I'm going to harp on this issue. This issue that what successful people do, remember this, successful people do, is they describe a situation as it is. They describe a situation as it is. And that is, they don't point fingers. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just describing that was terrible. And I'm actually not even saying it's the players' fault. Because if the players, which apparently 1 minute before the game they were told we're not doing it, so I'm not even blaming the players, because the players follow instructions. But the great speaker at ARIC this year that actually did a case study on the All Blacks actually said one of the key qualities of the best leaders is that they don't point fingers, but they describe the situation as it is. So, gang, and I had this argument with this person in the cafe. Anyway, it wasn't nothing really to go on about anymore. But, gang, as I finish this, please press that share button if you haven't pressed that share button. And I'm going to say to you the following things. And I believe that every person that leaves this Sunday night rant tonight, I want them to leave with total gratitude. I'll tell you why. Have you thought about this? The chances of being born on this planet, I believe, is 1 in 400 billion. Now, someone can Google it to confirm that's the actual number, chances of being born. The chances of being born also in Australia, which is a great country, there's another extraordinary odds. So start looking at that. As Patrick says, we are already a miracle. So I have to say, I look at all these things I've got to be grateful for. And I could have been born a dog. I could have been born a tree. I could have been born a whale. But I was born a human being. And I have to tell you, I prefer a human being to being a dog or a tree. So I am so grateful at all those things. I am so grateful at all those things. I'm also grateful, like I've got to tell you, I'm grateful I'm a guy. I'm grateful I'm a guy. And I'll tell you why. Because I think guys in the world of business, in the world of corporate, they are in fact, they have an advantage. Whether you like it or not, I say it as it is. Because I have to say, most of the people that I've employed, don't get me wrong, I've got managers that work with me at News Corp sitting on this live stream here. But most of the people that I've hired have been females. And I see females are such an untapped resource. You know, I say this because I just see, you know, so many females that underestimate how good they can be. And I'm telling you straight, any of the girls that are watching this, you got to do what some of these guys do. Like there are some dumb guys that overestimate their ability, right? Now, I know that we're generalizing, but what I'm saying to you girls, and this is something I push to my two daughters, is that you're better than you think you are. You're better than you think you are. On the same token, there's some females that actually spend their time and energy, instead of doing good work, is out there telling people that females are great. I actually think good people just get good shit done, right? That's the main thing. They don't spend their time and energy on a big whinge on a megaphone saying, do this, do that. The point I'm making is this. I'm so grateful for the fact that I'm a guy, I was born, you know. So when someone says to me, Tom, you've done, you've been lucky, you've been able to overcome illness 2 times now, you've been fortunate. Man, I was fortunate on the 10th of June 1967 when I was fucking born. That was the real big luck for me. That's when I hit it really big, because that day, somewhere along the line, one sperm beat 10 million other sperm, and it all fucking happened, right? That is, I shouldn't use those words, that is, to me, the real luck, the fact that I got an opportunity to come onto this planet. And everything else since that day, 50 years ago, has been an absolute bonus. So, guys and girls, as I finish off here, I want to thank you again for your attention, because in this new world that we live in, the attention economy, it is the biggest compliment I can have. Thank you, Michelle, for that. Thank you all for your birthday wishes that you've sent to me via SMS, email, the gym members, what have you. Guys and girls, by the way, while it's fresh in my mind, if you are not a member of the Real Estate Gym and you want to be connected to me for the next 12 months, realestategym.com.au, Susan will be closing the doors soon for the next 12 months. And I'm going to tell you, you're about to get some incredible new scripts and dialogues that I have been working away at quietly. So, gang, I'm going to leave it at that. And remember, be you. But don't be any you. Be the best you. God bless you.